Like options? Get LG OLED. LG OLED evo.
This is the TV review I know I've been looking forward to all year, and I hope you were too. Of course, I'm talking about the LG C2 OLED TV, the latest edition of the C-Series OLED collection, which has truly become kind of the gold standard for OLED TVs over the years. So is the C2, which is now outfitted with OLED evo, once again top dog for OLED technology? Mostly, yeah. What you'll get is an impressive display panel, but a premium design, maximum versatility, and great smart TV platform hit all the high marks. What's more, the C-Series lineup is LG's largest in terms of size options. The configurations span from 42 to 83 inches, all of which sport full arrays of HDMI 2.1 ports. The one thing that I'll say is our test results for this LG C2 OLED TV didn't show significant improvement even with the addition of the evo panel, but to be fair, there really wasn't much room to improve. Instead, what makes this one of the best TVs of the year, if not the best TV overall, is that it's exactly what you'd expect from a premium OLED TV. So let's go take a closer look. The LG C2 OLED we tested is the 65-inch configuration that costs $24.99, but the sizes extend from 42 to 83 inches. The 42-inch size and 49-inch sizes don't have the evo panel, but all the larger sizes should more or less be reflected in my experience here. That starts with design. This is a familiar yet stunning piece of hardware. The panel itself is so incredibly thin, measuring just 0.1 inches across the top half of the TV. The component compartment extends out on the bottom half of the back chassis, but it's still very sleek overall. A central stand keeps the set secure atop a table or console, though it can also be hung up on the wall with a VESA mount. This flexibility could be a reason to buy the C2 over the LG G2 TV, since the G2 doesn't come with feet and needs to be installed with a proprietary mount. Back here, you'll see the LG C2 OLED TV has 4 HDMI inputs. All 4 of those are HDMI 2.1 supporting 4K at 120Hz with 1 HDMI enhanced audio return channel. If you have a Blu-ray player, soundbar, and gaming console, the full array of 2.1 inputs comes in handy. These HDMI ports support variable refresh rate and auto low latency mode, leveraging the next-gen graphic abilities of the PS5 and Xbox Series X. The one thing that's perhaps missing connectivity-wise is a built-in ATSC 3.0 tuner. That tuner gets you 4K over-the-air broadcast via next-gen TV. That's not really a big deal right now since only select markets have next-gen TV, but support is likely to expand in the coming years. What you get now, performance-wise, is the LG C2 OLED TV's upscaling powered by the Alpha 9 Gen 5 processor 4K with the addition of OLED evo, promising better and brighter picture overall. Now, we found evo fell short of its promises when it debuted last year on the LG G1 OLED, so we went into this review with some tempered expectations, and that was probably a good thing. The numbers across the board weren't huge improvements by any means year over year, yet the results are still truly some of the best in class. Color accuracy is a highlight of the C2 OLED TV, with the set earning a 1.7 Delta E score. The LG G2 OLED TV is slightly more accurate with a 1.3 score, and the C1 OLED TV actually had a 1.5 Delta E rating, but anything under 2 can't really be differentiated by the average viewer. The LG C2 also provides an impressively wide color gamut, producing about 134% of the Rec. 709 color space, surpassing the basic color standard by a significant margin. The results are basically the same as last year's G1 and C1 OLED TVs, though we've rarely seen this score surpassed. Only the new Samsung S95B OLED TV tested a tick better with a coverage of about 140%. The only performance shortcoming perhaps was brightness. In our test, the LG C2 OLED was able to reach exactly 800 nits in standard mode with HDR content. That's actually very, very good for an OLED TV, but when we retested the LG C1 OLED from last year, we were able to get 749 nits in the same 10% window. These results also aren't as bright as the new LG G2 OLED TVs, especially having seen the two TVs side by side earlier this year. Then again, the LG G2 OLED TV is LG's brightest OLED TV ever and more expensive. Finally, the LG C2 OLED TV scored a lag time of 12.9 milliseconds. That's about as good as you'll see from a premium TV, making the C2 OLED one of the best gaming TVs. The 42-inch configuration makes a case for replacing your gaming monitor, but even the 65-inch size would make for great console play. While we're talking about gaming, LG's Game Optimizer menu was already one of our favorite TV gaming tools out there, but now it supports a darkroom mode and a new preset for sports gaming. The LG C2 supports NVIDIA G-Sync and AMD FreeSync as well. As for more of an anecdotal experience, I really enjoyed watching the mirror dimension scene in Spider-Man No Way Home. The color of Peter's suits and Doctor Strange's cape looked exceptionally rich. Even with all the chaotic motion, the clarity of the two heroes easily captured my attention. Speaking of motion, watching Top Gun Maverick, we were blown away with the motion handling of the speeding fighter jets. No details are lost in scenes that, as we know, were shot with actual flying jets. Those jets also made for good audio testing. The LG C2 OLED TV's internal speakers are actually upgraded from 5.1.2 channel to 7.1.2 channel sound. We can't say we noticed a huge difference, but LG's built-in OLED speakers tend to be quite good thanks to Dolby Atmos support and an AI sound feature that creates a more immersive soundscape. As far as an OLED goes with audio, this is pretty full-bodied and very capable. Still, with how thin this TV is, there's only so much space for audio to shine. If you're looking to have a complete entertainment experience, you might want to pick up one of the best soundbars. Those will get you the best sound performance possible. All LG 2022 TVs ship with WebOS 22, an interface that gathers content on a whole screen homepage. This interface feels mostly the same from last year's OLED TVs, but with added user profiles for curating recommendations and keeping each user's relevant content in reach. The content available includes many of the best streaming services and a lot of free streaming services as well. We could watch House of the Dragon on HBO Max, She-Hulk on Disney+, and The Bear on Hulu. Searching clips on YouTube and launching workouts on Peloton are both possible as well. When nothing's being watched, the LG 22 TV Always Ready tool is an ambient mode that displays art, photos, or a music player. Rival Samsung has mastered the ambient mode and even more so with the latest, the Frame, so clearly LG cares about creating a comparable option. The LG C2 OLED TV remote, dubbed the Magic Remote, is mostly unchanged from previous years, offering a streamlined experience despite sporting more buttons than some other TV remotes from top TV brands. You can navigate with buttons or by wireless cursor using motion controls, a feature that feels like it's straight from the Nintendo Wii. The remote features these soft touch buttons, including the familiar controls, as well as Google Assistant and Alexa launchers, and a microphone indicator. It also offers dedicated launches from Netflix, Disney+, and Prime Video, so if you use these services frequently, it's pretty great to have that quick access. Of all the TVs to hit our bench this year, the LG C2 OLED TV is the new standard for comparison. It has mostly everything we want to see from a premium OLED TV. The style, the performance, the smart TV platform, and more are all pretty much perfect. As much as the LG G2 OLED TV is a spectacle of a set, it's a bit fussy needing professional installation, and it doesn't make as good of a gaming TV. Plus, it's several $100s more than the C2. That's why the LG C2 is the OLED TV most people will want to get this year.
This is my unboxing and first look of the brand new 2022 LG C2. This is the 48-inch OLED evo. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really a year since we unboxed the LG C1? Well, I guess it is. Now, this is the LG C2, it's the OLED evo panel, and we paid full retail value for this. This video is not being sponsored by anyone, so give us a thumbs up for a completely independent, and all the thoughts are my own. Right, in the box you get all of the usual gubbins. In fact, with the 48-inch model, it is very similar to the LG C1. Now, there are different models available. The C2, 55, 65 and 77-inch all support the narrower middle stand, and also the back is different with all of the connections on the side. The 83-inch version is very similar to the 48 with the wider stand and a similar back. And finally you have the 42-inch version, which has got its own feet and again a unique back. There aren't really many changes to what comes within the box. You've got the remote obviously, but you do get this new IR blaster, and I'll tell you a little bit what that does in a second. Now, the stand that I've got is the darker metal, the more gun metal. Now, that is decided by the code of the TV. If you want to know more about that, then leave a comment and I'll answer that for you. And this is it against the slightly lighter stand so that you can see the difference, and that's the 55-inch version in the background. Okay, let's get this TV out of the box, put it down back onto the polystyrene polystyrene, so it's all protected, and I recommend that you just undo the bottom of the actual packaging and then slide the TV stand into position and then screw up the 4 screws, and then before you know it, you're almost ready to turn this thing on. But let's just spend a couple of moments and bask in the glory of this incredible TV. It really is. I love these TVs. They are really brilliant. Don't forget, by the way, guys, there is a film on the back, and by not removing that, it may have some impact, I don't know, to heat or something, but it is there on the back. Unfortunately, this year, the power cable is still fixed, and the cable management is still pretty minimal. The VESA mount on this TV is 30 centimeters by 20 centimeters, so it will fit most universal mounts. And as you can see, you've got one HDMI 4K at 120 facing backwards, 2 USB, and the remainder of those HDMI 4K 120, yes, that's 3 others, 4K at 120 are all on the side. So again, no real changes to last year. Now, the thickness of these TVs are something just to behold. It's around 4.5mm in thickness at the top, and around 44.75mm is the thickest point. So for those of you wall mounting it, this is going to be thicker than the gallery series, but as you can see, 4.75 centimeters is not far off the wall if you are going to put it on a wall mount. One thing to bear in mind, as with last year, is that there's almost no room at all to put a soundbar in front of this TV. So if you are a soundbar fan, you're going to have to relocate that or the TV somewhere else. Now, as the C2 is a lot smarter this year, it also has a lot more sensors in that LED at the front in the middle. So it's about twice the size, but it's still very narrow and not really noticeable. Now there's just one final job, and that is to remove the cellophane from the front, and then, folks, we are almost ready to turn this thing on. Now, the new version of WebOS seems to work brilliantly. The setup process is very similar to previous years. First of all, you connect the remote control, choose whether you want to set up via the TV or via a mobile device. I always choose the TV just because I like to see the actual process going through. You'll then have to accept some terms and conditions, and I recommend that you've already turned on and connected all of your devices to the TV, because then it will automatically find them and set up the controller to control them. It's very straightforward. It's completely seamless. Now, you do get the familiar AI functions with AI Picture Pro and AI Sound Pro. One thing I did notice is Sound Pro seemed an awful lot louder. So that is based on LG's virtual surround sound, which I will test and see whether it is any better. It certainly sounded louder, not necessarily sure whether it was better. Now you get to the option which is always ready, and this is where it will always listen out for a command. This is great for turning the TV on when it's off, for instance, but I'll show you that in a few moments. So that's it, you're then set up and you're ready to go. One thing to bear in mind is that it will start automatically in eco mode, and that is definitely going to be something that you'll want to change. Everything just seemed a little bit blue in that mode, but I'll go through a few of those settings in just a second. Now, if you want, you can go straight into retail mode. There are a few new retail demos there. Now, they don't tend to give you the best idea of how accurate the TV is going to be. They tend to be a little bit oversaturated, and they pump it into vivid mode, which gives you an almost unrealistic expectation. But if you want to show off to your mates, then I don't call it retail mode, I call it show off mode, because I truly think that you only ever put it in that mode when you're showing off to mates or family. But I am going to be honest with you, I think I can tell it's brighter. Definitely I can see that this C2 is brighter. So I'll run some tests, obviously, and show you and give you my results when I'm testing it after I've calibrated it and give you those figures. But it definitely does feel brighter than what the C1 is. Now, to give you an idea of what standard definition looks like on this TV, this is it, and I think it definitely is an improvement. That extra power of that processor definitely is having an effect with the upscaling, because this is the HD version, and as you can see, the difference between the two, yes, there is a difference, but it's not huge. Now, whereas the WebOS in the previous C1 was completely new from the previous C10, this on the C2 is just an improvement. It looks very similar, it's got very much the similar type of layout, but it does feel a lot snappier. It feels like everything is moving quicker, and that the processing power of the extra processor is definitely noticeable. Now, let me give you a little teaser of what playing PlayStation 5 on this looks like, and believe me, it is bloody awesome. Now what's really interesting is I've only had Gran Turismo for a few days, and I've only played it previously to today on a projector, and I was testing a projector and it was brilliant. It was 100 inches, it was on the screen behind this TV, and it was massive. And what I noticed straight away is coming back to an OLED with the PS5 on a game like Gran Turismo is just super awesome. And the only thing that this OLED is not producing is the same type of screen size enjoyment. It is absolutely just incredible looking at this. The graphics, just everything about it is insanely good. Now I'm going to be releasing a video with the main changes of the best things or the main features that are different from the C1. Now one of those I just wanted to show you is picture in picture. Now it doesn't matter whether you do it from the main menu settings, or in fact you can do it from the game optimizer settings when you're on the PS5 for instance, but it gives you the option either side by side or PIP. Now one thing that isn't great at the moment, I'll go into more detail about this when I show you in that next video, is how limited the options are for what you can display picture in picture. So I couldn't see a way of having the TV, for instance, my Sky and the PS5, or the PS5 and any app. I could just see screen share, which I couldn't get to work with my iOS device, but I'll go into more detail and show you around that, and I'll do a little bit of research, and if any of you guys know, let me know in the comments. But that is one great feature which could be brilliant if they just upgrade it a little bit. Again, another new feature which I'll show you in more detail in the next video is the Always Ready, and this is where you can speak to the TV, get it to change channel, turn on, turn off, and it looks pretty good.
Your TV will now switch to Sky News program. Here are the search results including Sky News. Select the program you want.
But you have to stress as well, there are other...
Turn the TV off. Now again, if you've got the always on feature, when you turn the TV off, you'll notice that rather than going red, the little LED stays white, and that's to show you that it is listening, so you can then turn it on. Turn the TV on. So I think that this is a really good accessibility feature, and it could help a lot of people, but I'll go over that in a lot more detail in the next video. So there you go, my friends, that's my first look and unboxing of the new LG 2022 Evo OLED TV, and it is looking pretty good. I'm really excited about this TV. I've got loads more videos coming, so make sure you hit the red button to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please do leave a comment and let me know what you want to know about this TV, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. Thanks again, my friends. See you on the next.